How are you all doing? I hope you are staying safe and healthy at your home. So, today we will be covering the topic light, and this topic is being taken from class 6 science. So, now let's go further and see about the topic. Light. What is light? First, we need to understand that. So, if we need to define what is light, light is a form of energy that you can see or the form of energy which excites the sensation of vision. So, around us we see many a things, environment, greenery, flowers, sky. How do we see all this thing? We see all this thing through the sensation of vision as the thing that give the vision sensation enable us to view the surrounding. Now let's move on further. Coming to the what are the various sources of light? There are majorly two sources of light. In the image we can see first one is the sun and second one is the candle. Now let us see what does these two images predict. The two sources or the type of light sources are natural sources of light and artificial or man-made sources of light. In the first image we can see the sun, which is the natural source of light. Why it is a natural source of light? Because it is having the light naturally. It have its inbuilt natural light in it that it emits. Whereas the second image shows the artificial light source, candle. Why candle is the artificial light source? Because it is not natural. It is artificial. Or we can say that it is a man-made product. And then it emits the light. It is artificial form of light. Now let's try to understand these sources of light in detail in our next slides. Natural source of light. So as we have seen earlier, what is natural sources of light? The sources of light then can create their own light naturally, and yes, they are not man-made. They are called natural source of light. So what are the some of examples that we see around us which are natural sources of light? These are sun, moon, stars, and yes, firefly. So these examples we can see that they have their own light, or we can say they have natural light in them, and these are not man-made. I hope we are able to understand till here. Now let's move on further. Artificial or man-made source of light. What are artificial or man-made source of light? The sources of light that cannot create their own light naturally. Yes, the light or the source of light that doesn't have the light natural in them and they are artificially or man-made, these kind of sources of light are termed as artificial sources of light. What are the various examples that we see around us that are man-made or artificial sources of light? These are candle, tube light, bulb, and lamp. We can see all of these, they do not have light of their own. They do not have natural light. And all of these are man-made. Let's move on further. Coming to the next part of this light section, that is luminous object. What are luminous objects? Let's try to understand this. Luminous objects are the objects that emit light on their own. These are termed as luminous objects. The various examples: sun, star, light, bulb. So we can see the objects that emit light on their own, that have their own light. They are termed as luminous object. They are not reflecting the light of the other. They have the origin of light of their own. These type of objects are termed as luminous object. Now let's try to understand the non-luminous object. Non-luminous objects are the objects that do not reflect light. Means have they do not have the light and they do not reflect the light. They do not have any light of their own. These are termed as non-luminous object. What are the various examples? Various examples are wood, plastic, metal, moon, etc. Why moon? Moon because it does not reflect the light. It does not have the light of its own. It reflects the light that it gets from the sun. So, these are the non-luminous object. I hope we were able to understand till here. Now let's move further. So friends, let's do the quick recap of what all things we have learned today. We have learnt about what is light. So what is light? Light is the source that excites the sensation of vision and which enable us to see the surrounding. What are the various types of sources of light? Sources of light are natural source of light, artificial or man-made source of light. What are natural source of light? The source of light that have the light in them naturally. And artificial and man-made source of light are the source of light that have the light in them not naturally but they are artificially or being man-made. So, now we also today learnt about luminous object. What is luminous object? The object that reflects the light of their own or they emits the light of their own are termed as luminous object. We have seen bulb, candle, tube light, sun. These all are luminous objects. And what are non-luminous objects? The objects that does not emit the light of their own. They emit the light of the other. Like doors in our house, windows in our house, metal objects, moon. Moon reflects the light of a sun. It doesn't emit the light of its own. So I hope we were able to try to understand till here. Now let's move on to the home assignment. So friends, this is the home assignment. You can do the practice. We have two fill in the blanks. That is, dash help us to see the object. You can answer it. What is that help us to see the object? And the second fill in the blank is the object that give out or emit light of their own. What we call these kinds of object? It's a very simple one. We will be able to do it. Okay. Now the question answers part, that what are the two examples of luminous object and non-luminous objects. So all these questions are related to the topics that we have covered today. Okay. So that's all for the day. Thank you from my side. Till we meet next. That's all for the day. Thank you for watching my video. Stay home, stay safe.